Good evening. Welcome to Grand Blanc Township's board meeting for Tuesday, February 17th. If you could please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Robertson, would you please call the roll?
I would be happy to call the roll, Mr. Supervisor. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
You're here. Trustee Fike.
Here.
Yes. Okay, very good. Trustee Hugo.
Here.
And Trustee White.
Here.
7 members present, a quorum.
Thank you, and would like to welcome our new trustee. I know we swore her in at the end of the meeting, our last meeting, but congratulations, and we're very pleased to have you with us this evening.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll now entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. If somebody cares to make, Mr. Fike makes that motion.
Support.
Motion by Fike, supported by
Yancho.
Yancho. Okay. On the agenda, Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Clerk Robertson, of course, myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
And now we'll move to public comment. I don't see any public comment cards. Anybody wish to make public comment? Anybody wish to make public comment? I'm being told I'm not being heard, so. We do have new microphones on order, so is what I'm told.
So,
Okay, with that, we'll close public comment and move to approval of the consent agenda if there's a motion. Motion by Ms. Hugo, support by
motion by
Treasurer Yancho.
Hugo, supported by Yancho on Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
And Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
Thank you. And now moving to old business, our strategic plan review. One of the items that we had in our strategic plan from last year was community engagement, enhanced community engagement efforts through outreach to our public. With that, Mr. Limita.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. We wanted to touch base, like we always do, on any updates to our strategic plan review. For the public's information, I know you guys have March 10th set, especially with Trustee Ryder as your new member, to review the strategic plan once again, to see if there's any changes. But the report tonight has to do with community engagement. It was a goal area of community engagement, and under your key objectives and strategies, you have enhanced community engagement efforts through outreach. One of the reasons for that, as you are well aware, is Parks and Recreation's focus on doing a lot of the youth sports programs through the schools. They decided to start doing their own basketball programs. We can't really compete because we don't have gymnasiums in order to do that. So it's better handled by the schools than it is by what we had been doing through community, through the Parks and Recreation. Also, things like the swim program, we met with the schools last year. We were doing all the hiring and recruiting and training, employing the lifeguards, yet there was conflicts with new pool and they're down a pool. We don't have as much availability for open swim. It just became easier for the school to run that program than it did for Grand Blanc Township Parks and Recreation to run that. So we agreed with the school that they would pick that program up, so we took that focus away. As part of that, our recreation programming position was filled by Danielle, who resigned to take another position with another nonprofit. And our conversation, as you guys know, last year we ran Grand Blanc Township University to enhance community engagement, show people what it is we do here. They get an opportunity with that 9-week program to do it. That was incredibly successful. We're going to continue those efforts to look at how we can fulfill the board's goal of enhancing our community engagement. Those efforts became an offshoot of, instead of looking to fill that role as a recreation programmer, that it would make more sense for us to take a look at filling that role as a community engagement coordinator. And the reason for that is, right now, we have a part-time position of communications, and we had the full-time position of a recreation programmer. We'd like to collapse that into one full-time position instead of full and a half-time. It'll just be one, so we actually will probably end up closing the half-time position if the board agrees, and we'll move into this full-time community engagement coordinator position. As part of that, we formed the committee. Supervisor Bennett, the Director of Athletics and Programming, Senya, and Michaela, who is our current part-time communications person, have been working with the various departments on launching a bigger and brighter community engagement profile across our website, across the social medias, across our outreach, different programs. We're still doing community events. Those aren't going away. We're still doing the tree lighting and Harvest Fest and the big events. We're still leasing pavilions and running big sports programs, and we're still running the adult softball and the football programs out at the park. So we're not getting out of that, but some of the smaller programs that we had planned across the community at nights, we no longer need the recreation coordinator or programmer's position. So as part of that, we've created this revised job description. It was in your packet. It talks about collapsing like a 1.5 positions into one full-time position, and having that work with community engagement under the Department of Parks and Recreation. And it's really just revising how we look at that community engagement.
So this person would also be available for helping with the Parks and Rec programs, right? So, and there's something, tree lighting and what have you, they would assist with that as well.
Yeah, you guys know we operate Parks and Recreation with the skeleton crew, really, compared to the way it was run before we took it over. And whenever we do those programs, it's all hands on deck. I mean, thank God for our Department of Public Works and those guys and how they help us out. We have an incredibly talented and hardworking team under Matt Kimmer's direction for Parks and Recreation that pulls off these big programs. So this position would absolutely still have to be involved. And again, it's not an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday position. It is, evenings, weekends, when things are going on.
Yeah. Well, a big part of, the events that we do have with Parks and Rec, I know that a big part of it is recruiting people for it, or for a cleanup day, for example, just promoting, that, whether it's our national night out. I mean, we do a fair amount of promoting for those events already, so this will fit into helping with all those different department events and activities to get the word out. But it is something that we had in our strategic plan that, and this dates back to last April, and I think it's having a cohesive message across all of our departments that we're looking at as well, and really being able to take advantage of both electronic communication and print. But one of the things that we've seen is other municipalities, and what some of them are doing that are very progressive. It's things like a digital newsletter that can go out. One of the things with our business licensing that we have available now is the contacts that all the businesses, or we will have, in the township that we can communicate with on a regular basis, and this person would help us to do that. We've had some great meetings with, in fact, we had one earlier this week with several different departments being represented, and really had some great ideas both for internal newsletter for the staff as well as external to the public, and as well as our social media. But I think you're going to see if we approve this, we'll see a number of great things out there in terms of educating the public. And some of it, is helping to correct people, the myths that are out there of how things work, whether it's tax appeals, whatever the case may be, of how things work. And really, we spend a lot of time trying to educate people, where if we did that on a public basis, our staff would be able to spend time doing other things than explaining to each individual person that roads aren't necessarily our responsibility, and all those other things that all of us have constantly been just, asked about.
You guys had this last month, it got handed out to all of you. And it's, the events and happenings, this was pushed out by Parks and Recreation, obviously as part of the community engagement series. It lets you know what's going on all through 2026. All of our community events are still there. They just held the successful daddy-daughter dance, got community cleanup coming up. The fire department open house will be tied in with our ribbon cutting in the spring. They've got a golf scramble that's planned that will also, all the proceeds will go to police, fire, and parks and recreation departments. They still have National Night Out through PD, Frights and Lights in October, the holiday tree lighting, and holiday walking nights. In addition, just to show you another example of what we mean by enhanced community engagement efforts through community outreach, is you all have one of these at your seat this evening. And what this is talking about is keys to your community. This was a program that was developed through our Parks and Recreation Department that was presented to them as an idea from our Treasury specialist, Madison Hall, and our assessing director, Danielle Pashtu. And this is an idea that this free class that they're going to hold March 3rd from 6:15 to 8:15, and it's really geared towards new home buyers or even long-term homeowners who might have some interest in how to read an assessment notice, how assessed and taxable values are calculated, and how millage rates determine your property taxes. They're also going to show a breakdown of how your tax dollars come in and where it goes. Kind of an offshoot from the GBTU, and some of the questions and the feedback that they got during that time led them into creating this program. So they're excited about being able to offer something different to the community. And this is a prime example of what we're talking about when we talk about enhanced outreach and how do we find new ways to engage the community members and get them involved. This is where this position would be key to doing some of this as well.
Any questions for Mr. Limina? Concerns?
I really like the idea of more community engagement and keeping our residents informed of what's going on and why we do what we do. So this is a great program, in my opinion. Does this require a motion?
What I'd like is the feedback. If you guys agree, a motion would be great, Treasurer Yancho, in that you support the concept of this position becoming a community engagement coordinator, community engagement communications coordinator position, and it's going to replace our recreation programmer position. Not a new position, but we're retooling. So we're not adding a position to the payroll or to the budget, but it is a revised
Job description.
job description and position. So I would like, it's not required, but I would like to have that motion if you guys, just to make sure that you guys support it.
I would make that motion that we approve this program of revamping our social media and information specialist.
Okay. Mr. Supervisor, if I may, you know I'm a stickler about doing motions on the fly that aren't part of it, so I want to make sure we get the language of this correctly written. A motion to approve the,
Authorization for the position of
okay, one moment, authorization for the position of,
community engagement
hold on, community engagement
and communications
and communications
coordinator.
coordinator.
I know there's some discussion, but somebody want to second it and we'll move
That's
on.
what I said.
Joel, seconds it.
Motion by Yancho,
Support by.
supported by Fike
Yes.
on item 6A.
Ms. Hugo?
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. Is this position being posted, or are you taking somebody from internal? Did you say someone from internal will be doing the full-time?
We have an internal candidate, but the position will be posted. So may the best person rise to the top.
What's the pay range for that?
It's going to be similar to the, because this is a really tough one to do on, we use a lot of Michigan Municipal League wages and salary, and was a tough one, but it's very similar to what the recreation program or pay scale, what I've been able to find so far. So while I don't have it listed in here, the pay scale will be relatively the same as far as the budget impact goes as what we already had in the previous position.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. White?
So you said this is going to go from 1.5 spots to 1.
Correct.
Is that other half going to just be gone, or is it going to be reallocated to something else?
No, it would be that position. Right now, the way it works is that the current part-time communications person is just assigned out of my office at part-time, so 29 hours a week position. That will be eliminated.
How much are we looking at saving by doing that, probably?
$19 an hour times up to 1,560 a
600
year.
a week, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need to amend the budget accordingly?
It will, I mean, you're eliminating, you don't necessarily have to amend it, but at some point, that money will end up being allocated to another
Area where
position.
we need it. Just because it's budgeted doesn't mean it's an authorization to spend it. So if you have extra money, we'll have to come to the board to have it authorized to be spent somewhere.
At some point during the year of 2026, during the budget amendment, those funds will be reallocated to the
Right.
greatest needed.
Yep.
Shall I
Yes.
proceed with the record roll call on item 6A?
Please.
Okay. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
Under new business, item A, the board will consider authorizing an emergency medical services agreement with Patriot Ambulance to geofence EMS units within the township boundary. Just to preface this topic, one of the things that's also in our strategic plan is obviously looking at our response times with EMS and all of our first responders. But this in particular, in the last month, we had a significant situation that arose with one of the schools. I forwarded an email that I received late today to all of the board. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read it, but it was from Miss Stephanie Edwards. Her daughter is a student at one of our middle schools, and bear with me, I'll just read it for a moment here. Good evening, Grand Blanc Township Board. I'm writing to strongly advocate for an additional ambulance service in Grand Blanc Township. Emergency services available should never be a concern amongst the citizens. As some of you already know, my daughter was injured at a school sport practice on January 5th. 911 was called and told she had a possible neck injury with radiating pain down her spine and shoulders. I was told by dispatch it would be a bit because an ambulance wasn't available. As soon as one was released from the hospital, they would send one. Shortly after, a Grand Blanc Township police officer came to the school, assessed my daughter, and commented that since she could move her toes, it would be quicker for me to drive her to the hospital because of the crisis protocol, and she didn't fit it. I single-handedly had to get my daughter off the ground while stabilizing her neck and drive her to Henry Ford Genesis, where it was found she had 2 fractured vertebrae in her neck, C6, C7. She has been in a brace since January 5th. Her cheer season is over, but things could have been so much worse. I have a medical background, and I know that with a neck injury, the first thing that needs to be done is immobilize the neck with a C-collar. Not knowing what type of injury she had, I could have done so much further damage of her spine by moving her myself, but I didn't have a couple of hours that I was told by the officer it might take for the ambulance to get to her. As we were in the school and they would be closing soon, the problem with dispatching was ridiculous. She should have been a Tier 1 call, and I hope that problem has been rectified for any future calls. If my daughter is an example of what needs to change with emergency services and negligence, then so be it. I never want another patient to have to risk further injury or paralysis because an because an ambulance cannot be dispatched in a timely manner. I urge you, beg you, if you will, please pass the motion to add additional dedicated ambulance services to our township. You never know when it could be your family waiting for help. Supervisor Bennett and Superintendent Lemata, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking our concerns and our township's needs very seriously and working so diligently to get things done. With much appreciation, Stephanie Edwards. So really a tragic situation that could have been a lot worse. And we actually, the city, I'm not sure who called the meeting, might have been a gentleman from Patriot that called the meeting, but the city asked us to come in the school, and so we met 3-4 weeks ago, I guess, maybe, and said we need to figure out something. And the city's been doing some things that been working very well. We had another meeting in the past week. Chief Gent, the fire chief from the city of Grand Blanc, gentleman from Patriot, myself, and Mr. Lemata met to discuss this. We actually had, Mr. Lemata and I had discussed this topic a while ago, and it was good to hear that the city has had success with it, and that they feel as though it, while it might not be a permanent solution to all of the ills that we have with EMS delivery, it does assist in the meantime. I had the occasion to talk with a number of other supervisors from the county earlier this morning, and several of them have agreements and similar to this, and they said that they find that it's been very beneficial to their communities. So with that, I'm not sure where we want to go. Mr. Lemata, you want to talk about the terms of the agreement and what we're looking at?
One of the things, I think they first presented this to us, a different form of this agreement, last year, May. It was about the time Chief Gent started, and we met and had the conversation about it at that time. Again, verified, just looking at the legal agreements, and you guys know we had quite a few legal opinions on the direct dispatch method and our concerns with any violations of the direct dispatch method and how that complies with 911 Act. We still stand as Grand Blanc Township in a firm belief that having an exclusive provider agreement and changing the way the dispatch method works is a direct violation of the State of Michigan 911 Act. This is not that. This is really about a preferred provider that geo-fences an ambulance into your 36 square mile boundaries. And I think that's a very important distinction, because we're not obligated, we're not paying Patriot to park these rigs here or anything like that. This agreement is just saying that we're agreeing as Grand Blanc Township to have an agreement with Patriot as a preferred provider who will stay within our 36-mile jurisdiction. The added benefit to that is they have an agreement, the same agreement with the city of Grand Blanc right now, and they have a rig park there. This is going to ensure that we get another one parked at least within the same 36 square miles. And one of the things that Patriot tried to do was have the one in the city also be available for any calls into the township, but 911, Genesee County 911 Dispatch wouldn't agree to that because they didn't have an agreement with us. So if the board moves this forward, what it successfully does is makes an ambulance available from Patriot as a preferred provider, but when a 911 call goes in, the closest available ambulance will be sent. They won't look to see if it is a Patriot ambulance. They will look to see what's the closest rig to be sent to that 911 call. So that's an important distinction for us because we felt like that dispatch method with an exclusive provider is a violation of the 911 Act. This does not violate it. It just means that they're willing to geo-fence in an ambulance that won't keep getting called out of into other out-county areas.
And we'll ask the gentleman from Patriot, Jeff and Jay, to come up. But the one thing, too, that we're looking at is being able to interchange with the city that unit as well. So probably at least 2 units, from what we're hearing, So now, if the one in the township's not busy and the one in the city is at the high school taking care of something and something else happens in the city, that is going to be geofenced to the city and the township. That can go into the city and vice versa. So if the township has something that requires 2 EMS units, those can be in the township as well. Again, doesn't preclude any other EMS company from being here. They probably will. I mean, we've got hospital here, we've got several assisted living facilities, several retirement places that they frequent, and so we probably won't be exclusive just because we have a preferred provider. There will be many others, but at least this way, we have one that's going to hopefully stay here. I think they could be called out if there's a tier 1 call, meaning the most serious calls in the vicinity that's just outside of our border, but otherwise it's going to stay here. Is that correct, Mr. York?
That's correct, yep.
Mr. York, if you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm Jeff York, President of Patriot Ambulance Service, and I think Lehman and Venable kind of explained it. We've talked about this on and off for a couple of years now, ever since we started having some shortages in ambulance services. And I think the incident that happened at the middle school just kind of
Mike, close.
raised it.
Jeff, if you can move the microphone a little bit closer.
Kind of raised the conversation a little bit more at that point in time. So I just want to kind of point out that this, I agree with your stance, and Patriot always has, as far as the 911 needs to be sending the closest ambulance to every EMS call. We've kind of positioned ourselves with that but these municipal agreements that we put together with Grand Blanc City, and then we've also just put one together with Genesee Township. What it does for us, and what we see as the real problem that we're running into, is we put 2 ambulances in your township. When we start out in the morning, we have 2 ambulances in the township right now. Those ambulances are pulled all over the place when a call goes out and when the system gets a little stressed. So we typically they'll get pulled into Burton, City of Flint, Mundy, not so much Mundy Township, Flint Township often. So this will allow us to kind of, what they do is they'll take it like your police cars. Your police cars don't get sent to calls over in Flint Township just because they're the closest. So it's going to take these ambulances that we assign to the township. It'll keep them here for only calls in this township. Doesn't mean another ambulance isn't going to be able to respond to a call, and if they're closest, they're definitely going to be the one to get it. So, you'll see that a lot from, there's several different companies that go into, Genesis down there, and when they're coming out, they're closer to the call. But it does allow you to keep ambulances in the township for the bulk of the time. And what it'll actually help do, too, is you've got one ambulance right now sitting in Grand Blanc City that's only geo-fenced into Grand Blanc City, so we're going to be able to take that ambulance and expand it out into the Grand Blanc areas, and they're all going to be under the same geo-fence. So you'll be able, and that's something that the chief there has asked us to go ahead and do too. He wants to be the close one. So you'll end up getting another ambulance that's currently sitting there but not available to you.
Mr. Fike?
Is this arrangement where it's not an exclusive, but it's a preferred, being done in other jurisdictions in Michigan?
Yeah.
Vienna Township's been doing it for several years, and so our supervisor friend there, who I know, Joe up there, says it's been working, same agreement has been working very well.
My other question is for our attorney, the fabulous Anthony Chubb.
I want to step in. Mr. Chubb actually represents 911, and so while this doesn't require 911 approval, because it's not an exclusive agreement, it's just basically we want to keep a couple of units here.
Can't.
We really don't want to cause a conflict, so, but you can direct your questions.
Are we okay legally by doing this? I mean, the other way, we'd be breaking the law if we did exclusive, but if we do it this way, there's no legal issues here that we should be?
I can say this probably for Mr. Chubb. Go ahead.
And I can speak to that, certainly. Yeah, the exclusive contracts have been a fight for many years in the county, and certainly many legal opinions have been issued. Mine was made public at Genesee County 911, and it agreed with Grand Blanc's attorney at that time. And so I totally agree that this form of contract is perfectly legal, and it recognizes the obligations of 911 under the 911 Enabling Act. It recognizes the medical dispatch obligations of the county. And so it will certainly provide a preferred, a preferred provider that just because of their physical presence and their geographic, relatively closer location, it should definitely lower response times.
Yes, I know Mike you had your hand up.
Yes, I don't know if you could provide some information, but on average, how many emergency calls does a Grand Blanc greater community generate per day or per week or something like that?
I have some stats that I was going to share later on in the meeting from 911 on both fire, police, what have you. I don't know if EMS is on there, but I believe it is, but I'll double check. But we can get that from I don't know how much Patriot responds to, but definitely 911 would have that information.
Correct. And I mean, I don't have those numbers right in front of me, but I can tell you it's my bet is going to be between 10 and 20 a day anyways that the township, there would be ambulance calls that your township gets.
Thank you.
They are available in that Genesee County study that they did. You can pull it up by jurisdiction.
That's right, yeah.
You can pull up the number of Tier 1, Tier 2 total responses. You can pull it up by municipality. They have a dashboard to go to. That was part of the study that Genesee County commissioners did last year, Trustee Fike, and that is available online through the county's website.
Actually, we sat down with Mr. Joyner, actually who has worked with, I think everybody knows he has worked with OnStar and what have you, and actually he showed us and went through how you can look at those numbers on the dashboard, but
Okay.
if we want to have him come in, we can do that too.
Thank you.
Ms. Hugo?
I have a couple of questions. My first question is, and this is no offense to Patriot, but I'm seeing a 5-year contract here. Why wouldn't we do like a 1-year contract to see how everything works? Is one question. My other question is, I know that the firefighters have experience and are certified in training. Has a cost analysis been done between what it would cost us to provide those services? And if so, can we have a copy of that?
To provide EMS services?
What the cost analysis would be between us having our firefighters who are already, I guess my question is, why aren't we licensed for our firefighters that have the experience? That's just a question, and people have asked me why our firefighters don't provide EMS services, and I said because we're not licensed. Their question is, why are we not licensed?
Well, in this case, we're transporting people. So unless we buy a unit, we're not going to be able to transport anybody. So that's what we're addressing with this, is transporting individuals, such as the young lady that we were talking about that was injured. If somebody was there, a paramedic, what have you, could have, put her on a backboard, but they wouldn't have been able to transport her. The other thing is, as far as the 5-year agreement, I think there's probably an out clause that anytime you want out, you can get out of it. So if we find out after a year, I don't think there's any teeth that we basically have to pay anything anyway, so.
It's a very loose agreement.
But Patriot, I'm sure they want to know if they're going to be hiring people specifically to fulfill this contract. They need some kind of time frame that 1 year isn't, it's just like us on a grant. If we get a grant for an employee to pay for them for 1 year, we got to figure out how we're going to pay for them after that, unless we're going to say, hey, it's a 1-year job. Well, who wants that? But this is for transporting. I guess the discussion on whether or not we train and license our firefighters is a different discussion than this one, but it's one that our strategic plan, I know the roll of the eyes, but
No, I just would like an answer to my question.
well, we have a strategic planning committee that is looking at all aspects of our fire and how we respond. And that is something that we're addressing. Mr. Yancho?
Also, as I read this, there's no cost to the township to adopt this agreement. So we're not going to pay Patriot to have 2 ambulances
No.
in our boundaries.
No.
You're just going to position them here so you can fulfill the needs of our township residents.
That's correct.
Yes, Ms. Ryder? Should be on if the green light's on.
Hi. So this is kind of like a VIP streamline service kind of to the township.
Yes, I guess, good way to,
So you said that the city has a contract with you or an agreement. So if they are in that area and they're, like, say this isn't something we're doing, like this agreement with you, say this hasn't happened yet. If someone is injured in Grand Blanc Township, does that ambulance sitting in the city is not allowed to help the person in the township?
currently, it's not. What we mean by the geofencing is it's not, that ambulance is not even picked up for any calls on the 911 screens, for any calls that would be outside into the township. So, yeah, currently, it's only, that ambulance is only.
So they wouldn't get the calls for at all?
And that's what happened basically with the situation with this young lady. It just so happened that that EMS rig was at the hospital had already transported somebody from the city, but had it been there, it wouldn't have been able to go to the school because we don't have an agreement. This will work in conjunction with the city so that regardless of whether it's in the city or the township, that EMS unit will be able to
So
react.
that
Yes,
fencing wouldn't exist anymore?
between us two, but it would still exist around the town, so, yeah.
And they have, 911 has in the past, they'll call us. If it's something very serious and they need that truck, they will call us and say, can we use that truck for a call? But somebody needs to physically recognize that at the time to do it. The computer doesn't just pick it up.
Because I know Flushing Township, or Flushing City, passed an assessment or whatnot to provide their own ambulance services, or a non-transport, I believe is what they have. But that didn't work so well because their schools are in the township. So I don't have a lot of background on, the things that have been going on with the fire department, but it seems like something to entertain. Like, I think this is a great idea, obviously. I know personally that response times are not near what they should be. But if you have part-time firefighters that want to work more and we have a need for this, I would like to see what that would look like, down the line.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah. Now, I preface this, that we know this isn't a permanent solution for all of our 911 and all of our emergencies. So whether it's looking at becoming MFR licensed, as Ms. Hugo's asking about, or whether it's having some of our police officers be trained in terms of public safety, so that if they arrive first at a scene, they have some gear, whatever. We're looking at all those options, and I'll talk about where our strategic planning committee is with regard to emergency services when we finish up with this. We have a quick update for everybody. Mr. Fike?
Why Patriot? Are there other ambulance companies out there that also could be bidding on this or be part of this?
Well, number one is Patriots in the city already, so if we go with somebody else, it's not going to work in coordination. Number two, they came to us, and they came to us a couple of years ago before this really, and it's not costing us anything, so it's not like competitive bid.
And you will see other companies
Yeah.
still getting calls in the
Yeah, we're not making it exclusive.
It's not an exclusive, it's not, just, like I said, we wanted to keep the trucks here so they're not getting pulled out of the area all the time, and I think this is the best way to do it, so.
Ms. Hugo?
What is your average response time on Tier 1 calls?
8 minutes, 8 minutes.
Is the motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
It looks like it, yes.
Okay, then I will make that motion on item 7A.
Is there support?
Support by Yancho. Shall I proceed with the roll call, Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Hugo. Trustee Hugo.
I'm thinking for a minute, thank you. Yes, with the understanding that this agreement can be terminated at any time if we decide to go a different route. So, yes.
Very good. Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much.
So just a brief update while we're on this topic. We've had Clerk Robertson, Treasurer Yancho, myself, working on our strategic plan, the topic of emergency services, what have you. And we did have a number of meetings with several of our firefighters, our chief, to discuss this topic. We also have had several meetings with neighboring municipalities, as I stated at previous meetings. One of the things that we wanted to make sure of is that all the municipalities that we're talking with, that the information goes out at similar time, just so that there may be some communities that opt not to work together on this. But one of the things that I just received today, in fact, we were told that we would have it by the 20th, and I received it late today, is basically what we're looking at is the potential for a study that would, I know Ms. Hugo had asked early on, and the whole discussion is about a study that would look at resources and needs and what have you. And this study would do that, but it would also do it for a number of other neighboring municipalities. It would also take a look at future needs, future funding potential. It would also look at potential ways to collaborate with other municipalities in our area. One of the things that we found when we surveyed the county to ask, how many firefighters does each department have? How many have full-time? How many have part-time? How many on call? And it turns out that a number of the communities around us are on call only. And so, it's getting very difficult to recruit part-time on-call people to staff fire departments. The equipment's getting more expensive as time goes on. Is there really a need for 5 ladder trucks within a 5-mile radius, let's say, or whatever it is, 10-mile radius? And so all those questions, our group has been talking about with other municipalities. And so anyways, we received a couple of different options today. I want to have a chance to meet with our committee. I don't even think I've mentioned that I received it to them yet, but our committee is going to look that over, and we'll provide it to the board as well in the next week. And there might be a couple of mistakes in it that we need to have them correct, but I want to check that over before we send it out to the board. But it's something that we'll be taking a look at as a board and considering if we want to move forward with it. The nice part about it is that even if we don't find that there's any collaboration amongst the local communities, which I hope there are some things we can do, quite frankly, but the bottom line is we have, a number of other boards that would have to look at that as well. But the good news is that regardless of that, it would provide an assessment for us to at least consider and have some other pair of expert eyes looking at what our needs are and how to respond to those needs. But we'll be looking at that in the next couple of weeks here. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Item
Okay.
7B, Mr. Supervisor.
Yes. The board will consider a motion for the renewal of Assistant Superintendent Matt Kimmer's employment agreement. Mr. Lemata?
So in February 22nd of 2023, I asked the board to consider providing an assistant superintendent just because the amount of time spent on my duties was unmanageable as far as the number of hours I was putting in, and the board agreed, and we brought Matt Kimmer, who's been actually with us for, I don't know, probably closing on 20 years, Matt? Thank you. And, went through the process, and we brought Matt on board. Over those 3 years of establishing this assistant superintendent position, and again, it's not unique to Grand Blanc Township. The vast majority of cities that operate under the council manager form of government, the manager has an assistant or at least one assistant, some places more. Matt has performed every one of his performance evaluations has been rated as consistently performs above expectations. He is, in addition to the assistant superintendent, is the director of park operations as well, and so runs and heads up all of our park operations. Just in the, last year, working with Executive Coordinator Roberts, our grant writer, and Matt, as well as his team, have secured some very significant grants for getting some improvements done at Bicentennial Park with those major renovations taking place this year. I think, which is certainly when you look at when the tornado went through a couple of years ago and the way he handled that project and went out, got those bid and got that done working with our insurance company. So he's had a lot of success in those 3 years. Last year also, 2 major projects that were in your prior strategic plan was both business licensing, and we've been pushing for E-plan review, which is important, which will kind of lead into the conversation about the 5-star review from the University of Michigan on the award that we received. But a lot of that E-plan review, the things that we continue to do to create policies, procedures, put them in place that make it easier to do business with Grand Blanc Township for both our existing businesses as well as new investment. Matt headed both of those projects up, and they launched in January of this year and are rolling out a tremendous amount of work. So I preface that to let you know that Matt has done an amazing job working as the assistant superintendent. He's learned a lot. He's done a lot of work to establish, and it was new to us, so it was kind of starting out and not really having a pay range. So in order to put it into perspective, again, I often rely, if we're not going to pay for our own, and everybody who voluntarily submits their data, and it's updated annually through the Michigan Municipal League, who we are members of, they establish the wage and salary survey. The survey for like-sized communities would put the salary range between $115,000 and $143,000 would be the established pay range for this position. I'm respectfully asking the board to consider renewing Matt's agreement for another 3-year term at the rate of $125,000 for the year. And his contract has been included in your packet, so you can see it's our standard employment agreement that we have with every independent contracted employee. So what you're really talking about here is a 3-year term and the annual compensation. And Matt is available for any questions that you may have for him.
Okay. Ms. Hugo?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Support.
Motion,
Questions or concerns, discussion?
motion by Hugo, supported by Yancho?
Yes.
Very good. Shall I proceed with the roll, Mr. Supervisor?
Please.
Okay. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Myself, yes. 7-0. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Matt, and thank you for your great work. Item C, the board will consider a motion to appoint Gabriel Paletti to the Genesee District Library Board as Grand Blanc Township representative to fill the vacant position. As you know, we have 4 seats on that board. Mr. Paletti actually interviewed, obviously, for the board position 2 weeks ago, and he'd like to be more involved, and so I think everybody's seen his resume. So if there's a motion, if somebody has any concern, it's my
I'll make a
recommendation.
motion.
Okay, Ms. Ryder makes the motion,
Motion by Ryder,
supported by Mr. White.
supported by White on item 7C. Shall I proceed with the roll?
Please.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
7-0. Motion passes.
Thank you. Item D, the board will consider a motion for the purchase of a SCBA breathing air compressor and fill station for the new fire station number 1 in the amount of $52,788.50, and authorize Township Superintendent to execute all related documents. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. This unit is the same brand and model as the one that we have at Station 2 and will enable us to fill all of our self-contained breathing apparatus bottles at the new Station 1. It also standardizes everything for repairs and parts, so keeps everything consistent.
What kind of life expectancies do those things generally have? Any idea?
It depends on how much the use is, but most of the time you get about 20 years out of them.
Okay. Good deal. Any questions for the chief? Okay. Hugo?
I'll make a motion, please.
Support.
Motion by Hugo, supported by Yancho on item 7D. Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Item E, the board will consider a motion to approve the purchase of two 2026 Chevrolet Tahoes for the police department from Berger Chevrolet in the amount of $112,514, and authorize the township superintendent to execute all related documents. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening. These vehicles will be fully marked, fully equipped vehicles, and this is just to cycle out those old vehicles, keeping our officers safe with brand-new vehicles coming in. Should be lower maintenance costs as well as we cycle out those older vehicles and replacement.
And so these are through the state bid process that, in talking to our local dealers, cannot even come close, and they said,
Yes, sir, it is.
get them from these guys. From
Yes, sir, it is, yes.
So, Mr. White, making the motion, okay? Support by Mr. Fike.
Motion by White, supported by Fike.
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Fike?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
Trustee Ryder?
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho?
Yes.
Trustee Hugo?
Yes.
7-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Future agenda items, one of the items will be to discuss the strategic plan committee's report that we'll provide to the board regarding fire. Mr. Limita, anything else that,
No, I was going to say the exact same thing, is that, as we continue to follow through on your strategic plan items, and again, you're going to review those on March 10th to make sure that we're still working forward. But one of the things, to answer Trustee Hugo's question about EMS response, and again, one of your community engagement that you chose last April 5th was to discuss the role of Township PD and Fire Department in regards to EMS, as well as explore all service delivery methods to maximize service to residents. That is ongoing and continues. The proposal that Supervisor Bennett alluded to, just receiving today in combination with several of our neighbors, is exactly that. It's a proposed study that looks at all of those methods, the funding mechanisms, whether there's the ability to partner on certain areas that can help. So that this is what that study is actually going to do, is be able to provide those results. So, you asked like the cost analysis. There will be a cost analysis. One of the principles, if the group decided to go with this, and if the township board decided to go with it, is from the Woodhill Group. We have done a lot of work with the Woodhill Group. Everybody who works for the Woodhill Group has extensive municipal experience. Most of them retired from municipal government, and then they've formed this group. So they've worked with us in Treasury, they've worked with us in Finance, they've worked with us in DPW. One of the principals of their Dr. Bender, who you're well aware of, 5 decades of consulting work, retired professor from University of Illinois, is also one of the ones who does a tremendous amount of work across the country with fire departments. And then the Independence Fire Department, Dave Pichet is the fire chief at Independence. He is also one of the principals of this group. that we're discussing about moving forward. So there is a lot of impact on this study, and it's going to get the answers exactly like you're looking for. What you guys did tonight with Patriot is good because it fills an immediate need at no cost to the township and provides additional resources. But like we said, this could be the best opportunity that we have right now. There's no way that we could have our fire department flip a switch, have ambulances, or provide EMS service without getting the training. It also opens up negotiations for contracts because they're going to expect to be paid more as they become EMS. If we start requiring the certifications, that kind of thing. So it's a longer term, but that's why you have a 4-year strategic plan. We're not even completed through 1 year of the strategic plan. So we are working towards it, and I just felt like your question, I wanted to make sure that you got that answer for your question.
Yeah, I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, that should cover our future agenda items. So we'll go to board reports. Ms. Hugo, anything on planning?
I have nothing on planning, but I wanted to let you know that I'm doing a ride-along next Friday with the police department, so I'm looking forward to that and all the ins and outs of what they do.
Very good. Mr. White, anything with the zoning board? Okay. Mr. Fike, anything with Metro Alliance? Mr. Yonch, anything in Treasury?
Just that we're coming up on the final due date for taxes, and so we're busy collecting payments from residents.
Clerk Robertson?
Nothing to report, sir.
Election in May, right?
Yes, we mentioned that at the last meeting.
Okay, a few items. Genesee County Road Commission, one of the things that they're proposing is a road diet along Fenton Road between Grand Blanc Road and Hill Road, which would basically mean restriping it to make it one lane each way with a left center turn lane. There'll be a public hearing scheduled this summer to discuss that. Be a 2027 project if it moves
Where's that
forward.
again?
Fenton Road between Grand Blanc Road and Hill.
Okay.
Pothole season is here, if you haven't noticed, with regard to the freeze and thaw, and roads are thawing out. In fact, the frost law just going into effect tomorrow. But anyways, we encourage everyone to use the pothole or problem reporter that Genesee County Road Commission has on their website to locate where that is and what the problem might be, whether it's pothole, dead animal, you name it. Also, the Road Commission recently signed a contract with the state police to provide a waymaster in Genesee County that will monitor weight limits of vehicles in specific areas. If we had the need, we can always contact the Road Commission for their assistance. I think you're going to mention the E-City, Mr. Limita? Okay. The 911 consortium, I know that Mr. Yonchu had a couple of questions with regard to number of calls, what have you. I'll share this with the board as well, but in print. But at the year end of 2025, just a couple of interesting notes that 911 in 2025 handled 368,340 calls. For a total of 514,628 events. 426,800 of those roughly were for police, 15,610, were for fire events, 72,212 were for EMS events. What else? 20,000 administrative calls, pretty much. In terms of interesting things, fire calls by agency, and basically, I just went through and ranked them. City of Flint Fire Department had the most at 5,133. The next one was Flushing Fire Department had 1,605. Flint Township had 1,341. And Grand Blanc Township had 866. As far as police calls, the most calls for police through 911 were the City of Flint at 120,860. The next one was Flint Township at 42,528. The next one was Grand Blanc Township, 30,500. $528. Next one was Burton City, $27,000 roughly. And then Mount Morris, $21,000 roughly, almost $22,000. Let's see here. The busiest day of the year that they had last year was March 30th and through 31st. And it was on the evening of March 30th between approximately 6 and 10 p.m. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued. And the storm produced 50 to 70 mile per hour winds and resulted in a lot of downed trees, hazardous road conditions, and widespread power outages. So just kind of an update on where their numbers sit. So they handle quite a few calls. With that, a couple other quick things. The trail plan, I know that we wanted some adjustments. The county heard us and they are making those adjustments. They were going to come out sooner, but they want time to work through some of those changes. They are planning to be here on April 28th to make their presentation with regard to the pathway plan that they're putting forward. Our beautification committee and Melissa Roberts working on putting together our cleanup day. That is going to be Saturday, April 25th. And we're encouraging churches, organizations, business groups to participate in that as well. And what else? We will be realigning our committees a little bit now that we have Michelle on board, and so I'll be emailing everybody this week. With that, Mr. Chubb, anything?
I have nothing to add, always happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Mr. Limita?
Just a quick update for the board. We do have a conditional offer out for the staff accountant's position, and just waiting to finalize that. Has to go through the background check and whatnot, but that's great news, especially as we move into audit season, to be able to have a fully staffed finance department, because it is a considerable amount of work, and when you're down one, it makes it a little bit tougher. We're going through the screening for the full-time firefighter position right now. I believe by last count, was 28 applicants for the position, so a lot of interest in becoming our next full-time firefighter, so that's great news. I will, based on the board's action, will start actively recruit that community engagement and communications coordinator's position. All of the employees are going through performance evaluations. I have all my department heads' evaluations not completed yet, or I would have brought it for you this evening. But all employees from all the departments are going through performance evaluations through the end of February, and I'll have something for you in the first meeting in March as far as any cost of living adjustments or equity agreements that we need based upon those performance evaluations. My performance evaluation, I usually try to get everybody else's done before I submit mine out to the board. It looks like I will be able to submit that out over the next couple of weeks. And be the same exact format and same exact performance evaluation you've seen for those of you who have been here. It'll be new to Michelle. You'll have a hard time filling it out over the 2025 calendar year unless you watched a lot of our meetings. So you probably get off the hook for this year. But I do.
I like to watch meetings.
But I do appreciate you guys taking the time and giving me the feedback, because I can't get better if I don't hear from you. So I will get that out to you probably within the next 7 days. And finally, you had it in front of you, but I'd just like to brag that once again this year, University of Michigan Dearborn finds Grand Lake Township to be a 5-star honored community, one of 86 across the entire state of Michigan that's honored, as they looked at 276 participating communities. And what this really means is they collect and analyze data across Michigan communities that relates to entrepreneurship, economic development, and job growth. They examine 5 years' worth of publicly available data, so it's not something that we can tweak or mess with. They go in and they also look to make sure that not only just that on the metrics of how you're doing as far as commercial property, industrial property, that kind of thing, your 5-year trends, but also your non-homestead tax rate, things like that, but then they look into policies that you have put into place to ensure that you're, making it business friendly, and that's why I alluded to the E-Plan review. Instead of months of going back and forth in an E-Plan review, they can log in, submit a change. Our review is looking at it, we need to maybe change something. Rather than say, well, come back next month and we'll look at it, we can submit it to them. They can have their engineers, architects fix it and submit it back in real time, and we can move that process along quicker. Those are some of the things we do to encourage investment and economic growth here in Grand Blanc Township. And I first signed us up for this maybe about 7 years ago, and we have been an honored community every single year since then, starting off as a 4-star honored community and being a 5-star honored community. So good bragging point for what we've done here in Grand Blanc Township.
What's your response to, I saw somebody say on social media, we don't want to be an E-city. I guess they don't want us to be prepared for businesses to come here.
All this is really measuring is how business-friendly you are, whether you're making it accessible for businesses to come and want to invest in your community and do business with you. And, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and somebody doesn't want to have any businesses in their community. I can respect that, although that hasn't been my charge in the 10 years I've been here. The board's been very supportive, right down to creating a DDA and really trying to move it along to where we do create really high-producing, high-tech, income, family-oriented jobs here. If you look at our track record, we're getting honored for this because you can take a look at the number of light industrial developments we've had. It makes it a sense of place. It's why people come here, because there's jobs here, and instead of exporting our people out to work elsewhere, we're able to create those jobs and keep people in our community, including our children, instead of them leaving, that they have the opportunity to work here and have a living, sustainable job that makes good money. And I think, unless the board decides that they no longer want to pursue business-friendly policies, we'll continue on the track of trying to attract investment here in the community.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Limita? Did you have something, Mr. Young?
Yes, I'd like to have some information regarding the recent fatality that we had on, in a fire at the south end, or north end of the township. I know that both police and fire responded. It was a terrible situation, a terrible weather event. And I understand that the results were not great, but, because it was a fatality, I'd like to see more details of that incident.
Absolutely. I'll send a request out to Fire Chief Gent, Police Chief Rennie, and we'll have the information come out. We'll disseminate it to the entire board.
And at the same time, reading through the packet, I appreciate all the reports from parks and police and fire, but the police department stands out because they go into great detail about every incident, every major incident, about what happened, who responded, how they responded, what the results were. And I'd like to see that also detail come from the fire department as well. I'd like to see how every incident was handled in detail, how many people responded, the times, the number of pieces of equipment, when people, part-timers, arrived at the scene, and details such as that. And that'll help myself make decisions when it comes to our strategic plan.
You mean as far as on-call when they arrive?
As far as on-call, yeah. not
And as well as
part-time,
paid.
on-call when they arrive at the scene, how long it takes them to arrive.
And we probably have software that keeps track of some of that, I would imagine, and that we put reports in, what have you, so. And I think that's Clemis for the police, actually, a lot of those numbers, at least the Clemis report shows a lot of those numbers, but the detail, I don't know if that's off a program, but it is very detailed. And I think, what's that?
All the narrative part.
Yes, yeah. So you're thinking something similar to police from our
Something similar to
conversation?
what the police department provides us. I know it's bound to be different because of the equipment and it's a different program, different emergency department, but I think that I'd like to see more data about those specific incidents, because I think that'll help with our strategic planning.
Okay. Mr. Lehman, you can work with that and,
Yeah,
Something like
I'll
that.
talk with Chief Jen about it again. Different in reporting softwares or what he's doing, but I think he'd be happy to tweak his board report until you get the level of information that you need or that you feel you're getting. And I'm sure he's happy to tweak that as we move forward.
Great. I'm sure he would. It was just a matter that I thought I'd bring it up.
okay, anything else, Mr. Lehman?
I've got nothing.
Okay.
There's a motion to adjourn in order.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
And I will make that motion.
Okay. Supported by Mr. Yancho. All those in favor
We
say
are
aye.
adjourned at 7,
Any opposed?
7:10 PM, adjourned at 7:10 PM.